This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Chuck Schumer finally set a new deadline for the bipartisan infrastructure as well as the human infrastructure reconciliation bill. I'll give you the latest details on timeline. I'll also play a video clip from Bernie Sanders talking more about the reconciliation bill, human infrastructure. Also, President Biden announced his $600 monthly checks. We'll talk about a huge increase that could be coming for Social Security recipients, and I'll give you some other important updates along the way. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving out $200 checks to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Ohio bans schools from requiring students to be vaccinated. The measure applies to vaccines that have yet to receive full federal approval, which includes COVID-19 vaccines. So since the COVID vaccines are only authorized for emergency use only, with this new measure amendment in Ohio, basically what they're saying is that it's only for federal approved vaccines. The measure doesn't go into effect for 90 days, which is a window which vaccines are likely to receive full FDA approval. And the provision also says schools cannot discriminate against students or staff who have not yet received such a vaccine. Let me know down in the comments below, should schools require vaccines to keep everybody safe, or because we have freedom of choice, that people have a choice to take the vaccine or not and should be able to live among everyone else as everyone else does? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, the unemployment numbers actually did pretty well. So U.S. unemployment claims dropped to pandemic low of 360,000, but businesses still struggle to find workers. You may see if you go out, almost everywhere there's a help wanted sign. Everywhere, grocery stores, restaurants, everything. So basically, if we look at the chart here, we could see that the unemployment is at a pandemic low, especially compared to where it was back in March and April. So this is good news. It means that more people are, I guess, getting jobs, but it looks like not enough because there's still help wanted signs almost everywhere. Next, let's talk about what's going on with this darn infrastructure package. So, President Biden, supremely confident on passing bipartisan infrastructure deal. So what he said yesterday is, I'm supremely confident that everything is going to work out perfectly. Look, I understand why the press, among others, is skeptical that I can't actually get this done. I've watched and listened in the press declare my initiative dead at least 10 times so far. I still have confidence we're going to be able to get what I proposed and what I've agreed to in the bipartisan agreement on infrastructure. So, looks like he still thinks that things are going to happen with infrastructure. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it will? Do you think it won't? At this point, it's out of President Biden's hands. It's now up to Congress. And what's Congress doing? So Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer sets a deadline on infrastructure and budget talks. So another day, another deadline from Congress. So Congress, it seems like, have cried wolf many times before. They've made many promises. They've set many deadlines. A lot of those deadlines have just been rolled over and not even spoken about since. So is this deadline going to be different? We'll talk about the exact deadline and what's going on with that. But first, Bernie Sanders tweeted this: the budget reconciliation bill is the most consequential piece of legislation since the 1930s. Here's a video clip of Bernie Sanders talking more about that.
The nearly $580 billion bipartisan infrastructure bill for roads, highways, bridges, and major public works projects. Senate Democratic leaders hope to advance both the bills on a dual-track system before Congress leaves for August recess. Joining me now is one of the architects of the $3.5 trillion spending plan, the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont. First, Senator Sanders, I guess let's start off with what is in this bill. It's been a little hard to keep track of everything, both in the negotiations. There's been a bunch of proposals in the White House. There was a bunch of proposals from the Budget Committee. So just sort of top line, what are we talking about here?
Okay, what we're talking about is the understanding that for decades, working families have been struggling. The very rich have been getting richer, and you got billionaires and large corporations that pay in a given year nothing in taxes. Point number one, this bill will substantially raise taxes on the richest people in this country and the largest corporations. That's number one. Number two, for decades, we have ignored the needs of working families. Everybody knows that we have a child care system which is dysfunctional. In my state, $15,000 a year, and that's about average nationally. pre-K the same. We have a higher education system where kids can't afford to go to college or are leaving school deeply in debt. Under the proposal we are bringing forth, no family in America would pay more than 7% of their income for childcare, universal pre-K, free tuition at public colleges and universities. This legislation ends the international disgrace, Chris. We're the only country on earth that doesn't provide paid family and medical leave. We're going to end that. We are going to deal in the most aggressive way imaginable with the housing crisis, where you got 18 million families paying 50% of their limited incomes on housing. We're dealing in the other bipartisan bill with the physical infrastructure. And of course, we are making the largest investment in this country's history in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to combat the existential threat of climate change, among many other provisions. In other words, what the president has done and what we have done is said, you know what, let's look at the crises facing working families and the planet. Let's address those crises.
I mean, so I want to play what Joe Manchin said. This can be passed without Republicans' reconciliation. It has to pencil out, right? It can't be deficit spending. My understanding about the rules here. So I want to play what Manchin said, which was, it sounds like people are open. Everything I've heard from Democrats today is basically more or less on the same page. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
I've been very clear that I want to see the pay-fors and make sure that whatever we do is going to be globally competitive.
Is 3.5 trillion too high? Is 3.5 trillion too high?
Depends if we can pay for it. And still be globally competitive.
So the point is this is already penciled out. Like, everyone who worked on this has done the math, right? Am I correct in that?
Yes. Yeah.
Bernie Sanders wants a lot of things done, and he actually has the power to make it happen. He's in charge of the budget, so he could probably put whatever he wants in there. So far, it's at 3.5 trillion. Information is trickling out. We still don't know exactly what's in it, but I'll keep you updated on that. So let's talk about the deadline. Chuck Schumer sets a deadline on infrastructure and budget talks. So he set a deadline for Wednesday of next week. So if we look at this calendar right here, that Wednesday is July 21st. So this is also the congressional calendar of when Congress is in session, out of session. So if we look here, the 21st seems like it could possibly happen. So if you see how it's in purple here, let me zoom in a little bit. So purple means that both the House and Senate are in session. So if the deadline is the 21st, that means the Senate could vote on it and the House is in session and the House could vote on it as well. But if you look, the last day of purple is July 30th. The House is then going to be out of session again, on vacation, whatever you want to call it. So they're going to be out on the 30th, which means that is the last day for both the Senate and House to vote on it. Because as you can see, in August, they got plenty of vacation time here. It's almost a whole month. Senate is going to be here until the 6th. So it looks like the 30th is the last day that the House and Senate could both vote on it at the same time. If the House votes on it, then the Senate can make some adjustments and pass it on the 6th. So I'll keep you updated on that timeline. I don't know. Do you think this deadline means anything on July 21st? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Also, Bernie Sanders and the progressives see room to get more out of a budget package that is short of their goals. So basically they say, I see this as a down payment. Pramila Jayapal here, she's kind of the leader of the progressives in the House. Bernie Sanders, similar mindset, only in the Senate. So what's happening here is Pramila Jayapal said, we just spoke this morning, we talked the other night, we talked several days ago. We're in very close coordination. So this is referring to Bernie Sanders, who is the Senate Budget Chairman, and Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal. They have very similar mindsets. I think Pramila Jayapal wants a little more out of the reconciliation bill, especially since she was one of the people who led the $2,000 monthly fourth stimulus check movement. So her, Pramila Jayapal and Rashida Tlaib unveiled a bill to provide $2,000 monthly payments to everyone. So this is probably something else that she would like to see in there. Bernie Sanders Sanders has been a little silent when it comes to a fourth stimulus check. Talking about a fourth stimulus check, if we look at the petition right here, so far for the $2,000 per month stimulus check on change.org, the petition, it's at 2,624,000 signatures so far. Another big jump actually over the last few days. And what they say here is we need immediate checks and recurring payments so that we can keep our heads above water. Congress needs to make sure that we won't be left financially ruined for doing our part to keep the country healthy. So in terms of the fourth stimulus check, we're going to find out for sure whether it's going to be in the reconciliation bill or not, and there could be a chance that it could be added later on, as it did with the second stimulus check, which was just 6 days before the package was passed. Next, let's talk about more monthly checks. So the IRS begins sending monthly checks to millions of American parents in crucial test for Biden. So President Biden said that a middle-class family with 2 young children can expect a monthly check of $600 for the next 12 months. That's a lot of money, actually. So if you have 2 kids under 6 years old, then yeah, $600 per month, which is a good amount of money. That could help out a lot with food, rent, utilities, mortgage. Next up is a video clip from President Biden, as well as a quick summary talking about the child tax credit, and then we'll talk about the increase for Social Security after that.
It's one of the largest ever single tax cuts for families with children. And it's a reflection of our belief that the people of this country who need a tax cut aren't the folks at the top. They've got plenty of tax cuts. They're doing just fine. But it's the people in the middle, the folks who are struggling, who are just looking for a little bit, and my dad would say, a little bit of breathing room.
The White House is now celebrating the enhanced child tax credit as groundbreaking, not just because of its size and scope, but also because it's the first major tax credit that is available in advance and delivered in installments every single month. Now, the first payments will start hitting bank accounts today. Parents can receive up to $300 a month or $3,600 for the year for children up to age 6. Now, for older kids up to age 17, it's going to be $250 a month or $3,000 this year. The Treasury Department estimates roughly $15 billion will go out today, covering nearly 60 million children. Now, a White House official compared these payments to Social Security because they're regular and reliable. And in a statement, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen called the benefit both an economic and a moral victory for America. But the extra money is only in effect for this year. President Biden has proposed extending the benefit through 2025. That's estimated to cost $450 billion. Senate Democrats said that funding for an extension is included in their $3.5 trillion budget resolution that they agreed to earlier this week, but they did not specify for how long. And the White House is facing pressure from progressives to make this benefit permanent.
So the child tax credit could be extended maybe up until 2025. Some Democrats want it to be permanent. Let me know your thoughts on this. Should it be permanent? Should it be just for a short time? Should there be more help for people who don't have kids and families? If you agree with that, let me know down in the comments below, because let's talk about that for a moment. So inflation could prompt largest Social Security cost of living adjustment in decades. Why there's a push to change the way it's calculated. So what's going on here is seniors could see a bump in their Social Security benefits next year. This will be decided in December, at the end of December of 2021, and there could be as much as a 6.1% cost of living adjustment next year for January of 2022. However, a bill has been reintroduced in Congress which proposes changing how those annual increases are calculated. So the biggest increase, this could be the biggest increase since 1983. Although the COLA adjustment could help people on Social Security, I still don't think that is enough, especially when a big promise was made that it was going to be a bigger increase in Social Security. Now, there were some talks about how this could be included in the reconciliation bill, the human infrastructure package. So far, we haven't heard about that, especially since President Biden, still on his website right here, increased monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month. This is what he campaigned on. Whether you voted for President Biden or not, he had this promise, and it kind of makes people lose a little trust in terms of what he's going to say in the future. If he promised one thing, how do you know that his future promises are going to hold any weight? Especially a big promise like $200 per month in increase for Social Security. A lot of people were waiting on this to happen. He didn't even mention it for the first 50 days, 100 days, hasn't even mentioned unfortunate yet for his entire presidency. We've had Congress members talk about it, how there should be a $200 increase or $279 per month increase, but when it comes to President Biden, he's been completely silent, and I think that's not okay. I think that people who are on Social Security, people whose kids have grown up and left the house, people who don't have kids in general, single people, I think they need some stimulus aid as well, and I think it's very unfortunate that they've been left out, especially since they've been delayed with stimulus checks and a lot of other aid. I think they definitely deserve to get something. It's not okay for seniors and people on Social Security and disability to live off of one meal a day and barely have enough money to cover their costs. I think that definitely needs to change. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Ray the Gem says, did you have to fill anything out for the child tax credit? The only thing you needed to fill out was a 2019-2020 tax return. If you filled out that, if you did that, then you're good. If you did not, then you'd have to fill out the non-filers tool in order to get the child tax credit. Carmen Garcia, what about seniors? Are they forgetting? Yes, unfortunately, they are forgetting about seniors, people on disability. A lot of the Social Security recipients have just been cast to the side, unfortunately, and it's definitely not the right thing to do. Matilda Arnold asks, when are they sending the paper checks? So usually the IRS does the direct deposits on a Wednesday and sends the paper checks on a Friday. And that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Just so you know, you guys are great to me. You guys are special to me. I need you here beside me. And you are so nice. Do you know why? Cause you're so nice right now. You're giving me a lot of subscribers, and I love it. Bye.
As I mentioned before, I am giving back to the Wise Flies community. I want to say thank you for being part of the Wise Flies community and watching these videos, commenting, liking, subscribing. It means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to everyone else to see a lot of people answer other people's questions, which I think is great. So I am giving out $200 checks. I'll have more details down in the description below of how to get it. Basically, you need to comment on a previous video what you're thankful for, and subscribe to this channel, Wise Flies, as well as my other two channels, Wise Sense and Wise Vibes. So do that, and you have a chance to win a $200 check that I could send you. If you want to check out any of my other videos, you could check out this link up here or this link down over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.